Right here, Joan. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, Cassandra, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Legislator Hathaway.
Here.
Legislator Verkler. Here. Legislator Burns has been excused. Legislator Gilbert.
Here.
Legislator Chartrand.
Here.
Legislator Morahan has been excused. Legislator Kulzer.
Here.
Legislator Osborne.
Here.
Legislator King.
Here.
Legislator Zalva.
Here. Everyone please stand. And Legislator Hathaway, please lead us in the invocation.
Father, as always, we thank you for the blessings you bestow upon us. Many we don't acknowledge, but all of them we appreciate, and we thank you. And we thank you for the guidance you give us to do the good as good as we can for the county. We wish that you would reach down and help those in our county in need and help us to help them. Please help us with the COVID situation. Help us with our medical people. Put a protective hand on those that are caring for all the ill, the caregivers, the family, the friends, the medical staff. Please protect them as well. And Lord, would you please help us to get back to being the way we started, one nation under God. Guide us in that path, please, Lord. Thank you. Amen.
Raise the flag for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America.
The September 7th, 2021 board meetings have been distributed. If no one has any corrections or amendments, they stand approved. Report of the Finance and Rules Committee for Rule 6. Cassandra?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Rules Committee has met and they recommend to waive rules to act upon late resolutions.
Need a motion? Right, second by Jerry. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? It carries. So tonight we have 4 public hearings. I'm going to list them here and we'll take them in this order for privilege of the floor. First one being local law number 3-2021, the local law amending and replacing local law number 10-219, the County of Lewis junkyard law. Second, local law number 4-2021, the amended local law regulating and permitting special events on county roads, trails, or other county property and on any town roads and property where the town has opted in. Next is local law number 5-2021, local law providing for increases to salaries for certain local officials. And last is ordering the immediate site cleanup, removal of unsafe and contaminated building debris, and backfill of the former brick block building in Turin, New York. So, would anyone like privilege of the floor, starting with the first one, to comment on the junkyard law? If not, we'll move to the next one. The amended local law regulating permitting special events on county roads, trails, or other county property and on any town roads and property where the town is opted in. Any comments on that?
Yes, I do, Larry.
Please, John, come state your name and come forward if you would.
John DeGuardia, Timberview Resort, Turn.
And I'm sorry, but you'll have to leave your mask on.
I understand that they want to take that law from 250 and bring it down to 50.
That is correct for certain parts of it.
Okay, well, I guess the first thing I want to say is I think that's totally ridiculous. At any time, any one of us on the Hill have more than that. I have a tiny hotel. If my hotel is filled, I got more than 50. Numerous times we'll have a snowmobile or an ATV club call us. You have enough room for us, we want to take a ride. It's not even an event. It's a ride. And so to me, I think that's ridiculous. I think you're starting to make laws that are pertaining to us, to the recreation people, the hospitality people, and you're hurting us. You're going to put us out of business. They've done it in 2005 and 6. I had to shut down a $3.5 million Polaris dealership because of the reasons that not this board, excuse me, guys, a past board has done. And we can't allow that. And that's just not from me, that's from all of the businesses. All right? So that's the first thing. I think that really needs to be relooked, and I know all of this stems from SNRT. I understand that. Big events like that, yes, we need some control. We need to know they're coming. That's the first thing I want to say. Without ATV recreation up here, we're going to lose a lot of places. We cannot make it on winter alone like we did many years back. We were able to make a living just in the winter. Those days are gone. So we need to pay more attention to the ATV. Permit for the April event that I did. We never do events in April, all right, ever. Normally, the only reason I open in April is I open for one event, and that's the SNRT event. This year, I went to Bonds Corners and I spoke to them, why are you not doing the event? The reason one was they were a little worried about COVID. We already went through a whole winter. Every place was at its max. We all had the best winter we had in many, many years. All right, so when I spoke to them, that was one reason for them not to do it. The other reason was they said they're just tired of the battles with the local government, meaning the legislators. And I understand it's frustrating on both ends. And I understand you guys got a lot of other things on your plate besides us. But you got to remember one thing. Recreation in this county is huge. We haven't even touched it all the way yet. ATV and will surpass snowmobiling very easy if it's done right. Let me just read. I'm not one that always reads from notes, but I had no choice today. All right, so on my event, we normally get about 250 people. We got a lot more because they were coming to that SNRT date no matter what. We all know that. It happened the year before without me doing an event. We still had a lot of people here. So, we don't use the county roads for our ATV events. When I say my ATV events, it's called the Timberview Tug Hill Poker Run Series. We don't use any county roads. We use the town roads uptown. Anybody that does, like this year, we weren't doing that. That's why I didn't put in from the permit. I was not using your roads. The day before the event, they decided to open up the lower trail system. I had no idea that was gonna happen, but besides that, even if it does, those people already have a permit to be driving that trail. That's double dipping. You can't tell them they gotta pay, then I gotta pay. That's wrong. It's just not good business. And it's not good business at all. So, I mean, that's what happened that day. So, because originally I told Jackie I will not be using any county stuff, so I don't need to put in for the county permit. Also that week, just to show you what kind of numbers come in, you guys made about 5,300 in sales for you, and that's without the 2,000 that went to the ATV clubs. All right, and then I will understand you wind up selling $54,000 in permits that week. We need to pay attention. Once again, $54,000 in a month for permits. That's pretty good. Now you want snowmobile clubs and ATV clubs to also put in for these permits when they do events. Does anybody realize without these snowmobile clubs in this county, we are in deep, deep shit? Excuse my language. These guys, if you ever added up the amount of money, I know, I ran a snowmobile club on my own for 15 years. Without these guys, we would not have snowmobiles here. They're not gonna come unless the trails are flat. It's not gonna happen. I'm a perfect proof of that because I did it. I did it on my own because I knew the clubs couldn't keep up. I had vested interest. I went and bought groomers. I spent probably $500,000 in groomers out of my money, not county money, not money from New York State, my money. So I know what it does. Also, you wanna turn around and tell like guys like the St. Jude ride, the Ryan's ride, those are all over 50. What are you gonna do? Hammer these guys? I mean, that's wrong. These guys are doing stuff for cancer and for good causes, and now we're telling them, nope, you gotta get a permit. The permit's the easy part. It's your insurance and all the other stuff you want on top of it. You're an ATV or a snowmobile, you have insurance. So you're gonna force these guys to do something they can't do. They can't afford to buy it. I know, I ran Mudfest for 10 years. I had insurance every event because I had high-end trucks. I had no choice. This is different. This is totally different. One second here. Yeah, towns, the damage to the roads. I understand that. I get damage to my property too. All right? But what we have to realize is, yes, if there's damage, that's a problem. We know that. But we also have to realize the money that we're bringing in. I'm not the only one in business. You as the county is in business. You're in the ATV business whether you like it or not. They're here. You're making money from it. You're making sales tax money on every end that you could possibly get. That's great. That money's coming in because we and other businesses that will really pay attention to it, we advertise, we try to bring people in. All right? So if you have to take a little out of your pocket, it's the cost of doing business. You know, we want snowmobiles to come to ATV, come. No, we don't want the troublemakers. We don't want the BS stuff. I understand that. That's one reason Timberview closes at 11:30 on weekends. I don't want to deal with drunk people. I just don't want to deal with it. And I've been doing that for 25 years. So it is, you know, as much as some of the towns don't like it, I'll give you just for instance, just from my personal friends I brought up here. We built 8 homes and bought 4. It's over $100,000 a year in tax. None of their kids go to school up here, none of their kids do anything. That's just my town. There's thousands of camps up here. I mean, so I know when the town's bitch, and I understand it. It drives me nuts when I see somebody doing donuts in the middle of the road. I'll get out of my truck and I'll ring them out. It's not my property, but it's just annoying. But we got to deal with it. We're making money. You're making money, I'm making money. To be honest with you, the trust from you guys in conjunction with, say, our businesses, recreation, hospitality, we lost it. We have no trust in you guys. We can't do that. We have to trust you. We have to have you behind us. We don't have you behind us. We don't have your trust. And I'm going to tell you this. I talked to all the businesses. That's why I'm the only one here. They told me, go handle it. You know what you got to do. They're tired. We got some guys that don't even care. I mean, Gordon's a good friend of mine. He don't even want to be on an event. He says, I'm ready to close the doors and just have a nice house up here. We can't have that, we gotta build it. Now I think, watching this week, and I had to watch your videos from your last meetings for a reason, which will come up next. It looks like you're having a little bit more interest. I heard you talking about the side-by-side ruling, how to change it. Well, I personally went to Albany 6 or 7 years to try to change that with a bunch of businesses. One time Lewis County sent one of the legislators, I think it was you, no? I'm not sure. Once. We've done 7 years. Where are you guys? We need you to help us change the law. We can't do this, business owners. They look at us and all they think is, oh, he's making money, that's why he cares. We need all you guys. We need all of you to come to every meeting. Trail coordinator, we never had a trail coordinator at the meeting. That's BS, we need you guys. And I'm not here to bitch anybody out, but I gotta let you know how I feel. And I have other things, if I'm talking too long, you wanna talk another day, I'm here, but I would like to finish a few more things.
Okay, well, I neglected to say you were gonna be limited to 5 minutes, but we'll give you another few minutes.
Okay, and then the rest, I'm here if anybody needs me to come in and just meet with you guys and give you ideas.
That would have been the place to do it.
I went and I traveled and I did it this year, for that reason. All right, so, yeah, just for instance, last year, at the end of the pandemic, I didn't know what to do with my ATV runs. I'm trying to do them. I can't, I'm calling the county's office. I'm calling the manager's office. I left 10 voicemails, not a word back. Not a word. I sent emails, not a word back. Can't do that. I'm trying to bring business in for the whole county, not just for Timberview. I got 15 businesses that back me on my runs. So, last of all, well, not last of all, but this is something very important. Let's go back on. So, 2 things, real quick. 5 years in a row, I've been asking you guys to, let's collect the money for the county, for the UTVs. Nobody wants to do it. Told me it can't be done. Now you did it. So we wasted 5 years. No laws changed. Nothing changed. That's from us not doing our job. And I mean us, all of us. I did my fair share. I went to Albany 7 times. Now I got a question about my event. I got a fine in the mail saying that I'm being fined. Hold on, I don't want to jump ahead of myself. So I did my event. I showed up a few days later, gave Jackie a $500 check because I did not need to get your permit. It was not on any county road. All right. So I was told there was a vote from the county legislators to fine me. I need to know if that really took place or not. I need an answer from you guys.
This is not a discussion, this is privilege of the floor where you could state your piece.
I understand that, but this is very important
We're
for my
not
next
getting
step.
into a discussion, as I'm telling you.
So you're not gonna tell me if,
That is correct. We can talk about it later.
Mr. Chairman, if you want to refer him to my office, you can make an appointment in my office. And I'll
no, I wanna make this clear to everybody.
You'll follow up with.
I was fined $750. I made a $500 donation to the trail fund. You guys took it. Can't do that. It's illegal. I talked to many attorneys already, including your local attorney. You cannot take my money that I said was a donation to the trail fund. I want to build a trail fund. You took my money and put it where it didn't belong. I want an answer to that, or I will hire counsel for it. That's number 1. Number 2, we need to know if there was a vote, because of the letter I got from the attorney is where I have to take it next. So I need to know. So you're going to how can you tell me, well, we're not going to tell you if you voted? Can you actually tell me that? No, you can't. You have to answer me.
I don't have to answer you. This is a public, you have privilege of the floor for your comments. This is
Okay,
not-
so where do I go? I
We're about
understand.
out of time, Jim.
Okay, we're out of time, but where do we go from here? How do I fix this?
You call Joe's office and we'll take it from there.
That's my problem, is Jones' office. That letter is my problem.
And I guess you need to seek outside counsel.
Okay, done.
Is there anyone else that would like to comment on the special events on county roads, trails,
I just wanna say one more thing.
quickly.
If I can't get my answer here, I'm going to the press. I'll be on every TV station you could imagine.
It's your
I'm
choice.
not gonna end it here. I'm not getting shut down, and you're gonna tell me you don't know if you guys voted or not. Let my attorney take care of it. Thank you.
Larry, can he have my 5 minutes?
No,
Why? He can have my 5
I'm
minutes.
just saying, listen to you guys.
Can he have my 5 minutes? There's 5 minutes.
if either you two would like to speak, please come forward, state your name and,
Who, me?
no, you've had your time.
I want to give my time to him. And I want to give my time to him.
You're not,
Why not? Yeah, show
you're just
me.
not doing it. If you'd like to speak, come forward.
Why can't we give
Okay.
our time to him?
We're gonna move on here, if you two don't want to speak.
They
Any
want to hide
other
everything
comments?
and do it how they want, and that's why they call this meeting without letting anybody know, 2 days. 2 days. Bunch of BS. Sorry, guys, but I've tried my best.
Okay, moving on to local law providing for increases in salaries for certain officials. Anyone have any comments on that?
We excluding officials are?
If not, we'll move on to ordering the immediate site cleanup, removal of unsafe, contaminated, burned building debris, and backfill of the former brick block building. Anyone have any comments on
Larry, I
that?
had some comments on your last stuff.
Well, come forward, Steve, and
Put your mask on.
we'll back up.
Did I ask who the officials who are seeking the raise?
This is not a discussion, this is time for you to state your comments. We're not gonna get into a dialogue.
All right, my comment is that this county is in bad financial needs and nobody should get a raise.
Okay? Anyone else have any comments on
Larry, I believe we made a motion here that we can talk about, and that's that we're gonna wear masks in county buildings. We got some people in here without masks. I'm pretty susceptible to the damn disease that's going around, and I would like them to be told to put their masks on.
You're 50 feet away, sir.
I would like you to put your masks on, that's what the thing is about.
You're 50 feet away.
You're not, this is the county building, and this is
Show
the
me-
county building.
Listen up. Show me a law where I have to wear a mask. And if you can show me that law, I will wear it.
You have a county policy that
Not-
everybody.
That's not a law,
I'm sorry, I'm speaking now.
man.
I'm speaking now.
All right.
There's a county policy, if anybody comes in for a meeting of this size, whether or not you're 50 feet or 6 feet away, you will wear a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, you can leave. And in fact, you should leave.
What if you have a medical condition? I have a medical condition.
Then you ought to have 2 masks on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
You know what I think about that? I have a medical condition, so I'm exempt from wearing a mask.
So do I, but I have one on.
How's it going? No, really? You show me the law where I have to wear a mask, and I will wear it. Produce that law.
So, back to the former brick block building. Does anyone have any comments on that?
Mr. Chairman, if I can just make a statement for the record as part of the hearing. The brick block building at 6300 East Main Street in Turin is comprised of 5 tax parcels. 3 are owned by Rose McKenna Davis, 1 by the estate of Thomas Milstead, and 1 by the estate of Ronald Dorn. That comprise the entire building. The Milstead and Dorn parcels are listed in the delinquent tax foreclosures to be with the county to obtain title of those properties for non-payment of real property taxes. This structure has been condemned since 2008. Part of it was condemned at that time for faulty part of the back of the building. In 2011, there was an additional condemnation for the property that required fencing to go up in order to prevent people from being in harm's way near the building. It continued to deteriorate. In 2014, the interior heating, plumbing, and electric systems were condemned. Additional portions of the building were in disrepair with broken windows, doors, and in danger of collapse in 2017 with notices being posted by our codes department. The General Services Committee heard from Ms. McKenna in 2018. She indicated that she was going to renovate and fix the structure. That never happened. It is now 10 years since this building was condemned with no cleanup being done or undertaken by the owners. In March of 2021, the building burned and collapsed. I took it upon the interest of the county and the residents in the town of Turin to secure the efforts of the EPA to view the site and to take samples of the debris that was left by the fire. There was some indication of some asbestos, although not at levels we first thought were going to be shown. Subsequently, the DEC and Department of Labor determined that any cleanup the property would require certified haulers in order to properly remove the materials and debris. With the authorization of the county, I notified the owners of this process and the notice of this emergency hearing tonight. I do know that the property owners received them because of the returned certified mailings and also from communications I received from Ms. McKenna Davis directly. Pursuant to Local Law 2-2007, I'm requesting that this board again find that this down structure with the debris and hazardous materials is a danger to the health and safety of the public and the residents, particularly in the town and village of Turin. It warrants the board's immediate and emergency action under this law to take the steps identified in the law for the cleanup of this property, including authorizing my office to send out RFPs for certified haulers and for air monitors, certified air monitors. We have taken those steps with the assistance of the mayor from the village of Turin and with the assistance of Dank Engineer. We have, you have resolutions in the packet tonight to vote on those requests for those contracts. And I'm requesting that the court find tonight that this property requires an emergency cleanup, to direct that the county undertake that cleanup and to assess any of the costs associated with the cleanup onto the property tax bills of the property owners of record. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Joe. So, privilege of the floor, would anyone like privilege of the floor for any general comments other than the 4 local laws that we've just discussed?
Yeah.
Come forward, state your name, please. And if you're gonna come up here, you're gonna have to put your mask on.
I have a medical condition and I'm not wearing a mask. So
Show me the medical condition.
I don't have
That
to
you
show
got
you
from the
anything.
doctor.
It's a HIPAA law.
Show me the thing you got from the doctor.
I don't have to show you anything. You can't answer.
Well, then we don't have to hear you then. Let's
Okay.
move on to presentations of petitions, communications, and notices.
Okay, but I just want to give you one suggestion. Google Nuremberg trials, Article 10. You guys are all in violation of that. I hope you know that. That's right. So, have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have anything to report.
Okay, we'll move on to reports of county officers and departments.
Thank you. Legislators received the monthly treasurer's report, highway and solid waste September audit reports, and the quarterly bed tax report. Brian Mooney submitted the August Sealer of Weights and Measures activity report, which has been placed on file with the clerk of the board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Reports of standing committees. Tom, would you start us off with finance and rules?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got a couple motions. I'd like to start off with, I'll make a motion to authorize County Clerk Jake Mosier to refill one full-time motor vehicle application examiner position effective immediately.
Moved by Tom, do I have a second? Greg, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And I'd like to make a motion to authorize real property tax director Cindy Aiken to refill one full-time senior keyboard specialist position effective immediately due to a resignation.
Moved by Tom, second by Bill, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That carries.
And that's all I have at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Tom? If not, we'll move on to Jerry with general services.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have 5 motions, and I'll start with the first one. A motion to authorize solid waste director Kipter to refill one part-time MEO medium position effective immediately. I'll make that a motion.
Moved by Jerry, second by Lisa, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Motion. Oh,
Carries. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Motion to authorize planning director Cassandra Buell to send out an RFP on the old jail / Tug Hill Artisan Roasters Main Street downtown stabilization grant project for roof repairs, lead and asbestos abatement, facade improvements, and elevator installation.
Moved by Jerry, second by Lisa, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Mr. Chairman, no abstention due to a conflict, please.
Show Ian abstaining, and the motion carries.
Okay, third motion to authorize clerk of the board Cassandra Mosier to send out an RFP for project manager position.
Moved by Jerry, second by Tom, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to authorize county attorney Joan McNichols to take necessary steps to sell property known as Champion Pit.
Moved by Jerry, second by Lisa, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries.
Okay, and the fifth, motion to authorize county attorney Joan McNichols to send out an RFP for an asbestos assessment, 2, structural analysis, or a combination of both on the old Lewis County dairy property located State Route 812.
Moved by Jerry, second by Lisa, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Have some resolutions in the packet, Mr. Chairman. We're glad if people got questions as we go, I'll try to answer them. And that's all I have right now. Thank you.
Questions for Jerry?
Yeah, just one quick one. On that project manager, Jerry, that would be limited to the length of the capital projects, I assume.
Right. I mean, that's,
That would be in the,
no, because once that's done, you
And that-
don't really.
and that would be stated within the RFP, right?
Yep. Can you put that in there, Cassandra?
Yep.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thanks, Gary.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Thank you, Jerry. Andrea is not here. Dick, I think you're gonna,
Yes,
as vice chair.
I've got a couple of motions I'd like to read on Andrew's behalf. First one is a motion to authorize Social Services Commissioner Jennifer Jones to refill one full-time secretary to the commissioner position, effective immediately.
Moved by Dick, second by Lisa. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carries.
Second, motion to authorize Social Services Commissioner Jennifer Jones to refill one full-time caseworker position, effective immediately due to a resignation.
Moved by Dick, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries.
Third, motion to authorize Social Services Commissioner Jennifer Jones to refill one full-time physical manager position effective immediately due to pending resignation.
Moved by Dick, second by Lisa. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carries.
Okay, and fourth and last is a motion to authorize Social Services Commissioner Jennifer Jones to refill one full-time caseworker position effective immediately due to a resignation.
Moved by Dick, second by Lisa. Discussion.
So that's two caseworkers, right, Dick? I mean, we've got separate motions, but
They do two different type of casework.
oh, okay, thanks. Should have known that.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? That carries.
That's all I have, sir.
Any questions for Dick? If not, we'll stay with Dick as the board's rep on the hospital board of managers.
I've got some updates here from Jerry on the vaccinations and going on at the hospital. Percent vaccinated right now is 96%. The number of vaccinated since the state's mandate, 145. There's 5 medical exemptions, 22 religious exemptions. We've had 35 resign and 5 terminated. That concludes my report. Lauren, any questions?
Questions for Dick? If not, I think we can close the public hearings now.
Yep.
One last call for any comments on any of the public hearings. Please come forward and
I'm gonna ask about the first one. My name is Cindy Renza. So about the junkyard lot.
could we have your name, please?
Yep, Cindy Renza.
Okay. Thank you.
And just in regards to that, I know you said you can't ask questions at a public hearing, but, the way I read it, it looks like it went from $50 a year for a license plus a $100 application fee to a $100 a year application fee and $500 for a 4-year renewal. Just wanted to make sure that's accurate.
I believe that's correct.
Yes. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we'll close public hearings at this point and move on to the county manager report, right?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Not much to report. Bill told me I had to be at least as short as his invocation, so. I'll just report briefly on the 2022 budget. We will have our workshop during the Finance and Rules Committee on the 19th. So we're trying to keep the rest of the committees on that day relatively short so we can focus on budget, which is kind of the way we've done things the last few years, really using that committee day to focus on budget stuff. Well, then we've done, in the past, we've done an additional workshop if the board's interested, but the final budget, tentative budget from the county manager will be due to the board on the 2nd of November. From there, you guys can make any motions, any changes that you want. We do have 2 meetings in the month of November, 2 meetings in the month of December. So there's no rush to approve the budget. Once it's in your hands, you can approve it at any time. And with that, we'll conclude my report. Amen.
Good job, thanks. Will you be sending out something prior to that first budget session of high points or whatever, something to give us a little to chew on prior to the
I will do my best.
committee meeting?
To be completely honest, we've still got some loose ends that we're wrapping up. So
That's understandable,
Yeah.
but what you could tell us about ahead of that first meeting would be nice. Give us.
the capital budget you'll get that shortly because that's done. So we talked about personnel changes at the last committee meeting. Capital projects, I'll get out to you guys ahead of time for sure, capital projects and equipment. And then the operating stuff, I will do my best to get it out ahead of the,
And it doesn't have to be in total, but
right.
something that we can chew on ahead of time
Mhm.
to really be good.
Fair enough, okay. Yeah.
Any other questions for Ryan? If not, we'll move on to the county treasurer report here, please.
Hope we can keep it shorter than Ryan's, but Phil's question helped me out a little bit. Thanks, Phil. I really limited report, other than what was in my written report. I think I would comment on the very last bullet regarding our proposed tax auction, which we had planned for November 4th. Need to get in touch with Joan to finish up last details on that, but we don't have our court order yet for our judgments on those properties. I don't know that we're gonna be able to have one on November 4th, and it likely could be even just delayed until next year's cycle. So more updates on that in the future, but right now, I'm skeptical that we'll have an auction of properties this year. That's really, I think, all I have to add. If you have any questions?
Do you share that skepticism?
I do, unfortunately.
So we won't be able to take possession of them if we don't do that.
Right. So we still have the authority to be on that property to clean it up.
Questions for Eric? Report of the Finance and Rules Committee, Tool Rule 7.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Rules Committee reports that they have examined the claims presented for payment in the total amount of $1,206,974.63 and recommend that they be audited and allowed for the amount claimed.
Need a motion? Gary, second by Phil. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carries. Okay, moving on to resolutions. What do we pull?
I'm gonna need 236.
236 and 245, right?
So, Mr. Chairman, I have 225, 226, 227, 228, 236, 244, and then both of the late resolutions, 260 and 261.
Is there anything left?
Yeah.
Okay, so need a motion to accept the slate other than these exceptions.
I'll make that motion.
Lisa, I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the slate? Anyone opposed? That carries. So we're back to 225.
Yes, this is auditing and allowing claims in the amount of $1,206,974.63.
Moved by Lisa, second by Jerry. Discussion? Roll call.
Legislator King,
Yes.
Legislator Callser,
Yes.
Legislator Chartrand,
Yes.
Legislator Hathaway,
Yes.
Legislator Verkler,
Yes.
Legislator Gilbert,
Yes.
Legislator Osborne,
Yes.
and Legislator Dolzall.
Yes.
Resolution number 226, resolution adopting and otherwise treating local law number 3-2021.
Moved by Jerry, second by Lisa. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Look, this is a roll call,
Yeah.
sorry.
Legislator Hathaway,
Yes.
Legislator Chartrand,
Yes.
Legislator Callser.
Yeah.
Legislator Osborne,
Yes.
Legislator Verkler,
Yes.
Legislator Gilbert,
Yes.
Legislator King,
Yes.
Legislator Dolphin.
Yes.
Resolution number 227 is a resolution adopting and otherwise treating local law number 4-2021.
Moved by Lisa, second by Gary. Discussion.
I have some, I don't know why we changed the way that was brought through, from dropping the motorized vehicles. I understand splitting that off, motorized and non-motorized, and it's event law, but I still not so sure I agree with dropping it to 50. That seems very restrictive in the motorized part of it. I think it should go back to 250 where it was. For both, actually, you can leave it right where it was, and but I know that's even the other one was dropped to 150, the non-motorized. And I still don't agree with that restriction. You know, this whole event law was all designed because of the snort run back in the day when there was all the damages done. But I don't think that should restrict the use of ATVs in our county because of one event causing that much damage. There was a lot of things that went wrong in that day. So I just don't think we should bring that back down to 50. I think it should have been popped right back to 250. But that's my opinion.
Great. What do you think about 50 for the permit fee, which is a nominal fee, just so they've got notice, but the insurance requirement, have that apply to 250? Because it does seem like that'd be the most restrictive part, is going out and getting an event.
Absolutely. That whole insurance restriction it's very expensive for a club or.
I mean, the policies aren't that expensive, but I think it's just the process of getting it ahead of time, and that can take
Oh,
a
absolutely.
long time.
Absolutely, but I still think 50 is, I mean, we really are looking to the larger ones. I mean, 50, somebody with 50, that could be an extended family, actually. You know, if you got all the bikers together and they all got a wheeler, that'd be it. You know, I mean, there'd be more than 50 wheelers there. So I just think that 250 was a good number to begin with, and it's not about the fee anyway. It's
about the notice.
It's the notice, the time.
Right.
You know, it's just like 60 days. It should be relooked at. I think. I think this law should be looked at a little more carefully, and maybe a little more with more people having a little bit to say. I mean, that's why we brought the towns in here. When I got this thing through, you know, when I was involved in this, I was the one that said we ought to have the town supervisors, especially for the towns that were involved in that snort run, and have more meetings so that we could get a better law, you know, versus this one. I don't think this one's particularly a good law. Yeah,
I'm not sure it's accomplishing what we want to accomplish.
No.
It sounds like it's very restrictive. I know right where I live, as time goes on, there's more and more four-wheelers and ATVs going by my house every year than I've ever seen, and it's not even open.
Let's keep in mind that the main thrust behind this law was so that the emergency management, the hospital, the sheriff's department was aware that there was some of that going on. It was not meant to restrict anything. That's my only comment on that, I guess.
Larry, I'm not, just to make it clear, the sheriff's department's not part of that.
It's not part of what?
I have no idea.
Not part
You
of
don't
what?
want to be informed that there's an event.
Well, you just
going
said
on.
it was to help out the sheriff's department, that's not helping us out at all.
I didn't say to help the
We're not
sheriff's
part of that.
department, I said to notify the sheriff's department that there was an event.
Yeah, the people usually do on their own anyhow. 99.9% of the people that have the events call us anyways.
Okay. Any other comments?
So if I could just, Mr. Chairman, the reason that when we, brought this through committee, dropped it down to 50, was because there were folks that were claiming that, well, we only invited 50, we didn't know that 500 and 700 were gonna show up. And so that loophole had been exercised a couple times. That's why we looked to revise the law. So just to remind of the premise of why we were taking a second look at this to begin with.
Ryan, the purpose really is though the notice, and I mean, insurance makes sense when you've got, I think, a couple hundred people. I think that would be a fair compromise, and I hate to reset the timeline on this whole thing, but it seems to me like that would be a fair compromise. But do you think that still achieves our objectives for safety and everything if we just raise the insurance amount? And frankly, if more people show up, they're on the hook for it.
I would hesitate to speak off the top of my head on that. I'd want to talk with Joan and Jackie, and like Greg said, the town, we did talk with the towns when we kind of put this together, that was part of the process, so.
I just, for my own benefit, the insurance factor I didn't consider it that much, to be quite honest. I can see a distinction there.
I think the other thing was that, if you remember, the towns had started to go out and create their own event permits, and they had the insurance in. So what we didn't want was a patchwork of event laws across the county. We wanted one law that everyone could work under and live with. And so I think that's where some of the insurance stuff came from.
I also think that it's written in there that we have the ability to waive the insurance if we.
Especially for small events, family events, things like that.
Any other comments? This is a roll call.
Yes. Legislator Chartrand.
Yes.
Legislator Gilbert.
No.
Legislator Colzer.
No.
Legislator Berkler.
No.
Legislator Osborne.
No.
Legislator Hathaway.
No.
Legislator King.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Yes.
Legislator Dolphoff.
Yes.
The resolution is not passed. Resolution 228, resolution adopting and otherwise treating local law number 5-2021.
Moved by Lisa, second by Ian. Discussion. This is a roll call.
Yes. Legislator Gilbert.
Yes.
Legislator Berkler. Yes. Legislator Osborne.
Yes.
Legislator Hathaway.
Yes.
Legislator King.
Yes.
Legislator Chartrand.
Yes.
Legislator Colzer.
Yes.
Legislator Dolphoff.
Yes.
Resolution number 236 is a resolution authorizing the purchase of a portion of the East State Street property currently leased by the County of Lewis from V.S. Berkler and Son.
Moved by Jerry, second by Bill. Discussion.
No problem.
Okay. Is this a roll call?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, please note my abstention.
Lisa is abstaining. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution number 244 is a resolution determining CDBG project grant number 636H0133-20 constitutes a type 2 action under SECRA with no significant environmental impact upon the environment. The reason this was pulled is because in the second paragraph, where it says for owner and renter occupied housing rehabilitation, that was a misprint. It should say for homeownership activities. So we will make that correction.
Okay, moved by Lisa, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor? Opposed? Carries.
Resolution number 260, resolution awarding bid and authorizing agreement between the County of Lewis and Bronze Contracting LLC for site cleanup and removal services at the condemned and contaminated Turin brick block building site.
Moved by Greg, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That carries.
Resolution number 261, resolution amending compensation plan with reference to Department of Social Services.
Moved by Tom, second by Lisa. Discussion. All in favor? Anyone opposed? That carries. Other business. We have a-
Could we vote on 240, Cassandra, separately, please?
we already did 240.
Okay, resolution number 240, resolution appointing member to Lewis County Industrial Development Agency Board of Directors.
I'd like to make that motion, please.
Moved by Phil, second by Jerry. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carries.
Thank you.
So we're back to a proclamation commemorating all of Lewis County museums.
Mr. Chairman, I had a quick question just for old business, and I don't have my notes from finance and rules, but did we vote for, an RFP for the cheese factory for the cleanup? Did that?
We did a motion, Jerry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Went through general service.
gotcha. Sorry, Gary.
It wasn't for a cleanup, though.
No, not the cleanup, I'm sorry. Correct.
I take it you were sleeping on that.
Yeah. I should have been
Well,
paying attention.
I had 5 to read, so.
Okay, proclamation commemorating all Lewis County museums. Whereas museums are fundamental tools in providing insight into the history of citizenship and in the recordings of a local community's identity through its people, events, activities, and struggles, with the power to reflect upon same and shaping its future. And whereas our local museums' record of events from the community's past enable all of its citizens to share a sense of community and common heritage, which transcends social and political differences. And whereas our local museums serve to bring our residents together through public events, activities, workshops, and lectures. And whereas our local museums are critical educational tools for our children as they provide unique and creative exhibitions designed to teach and stimulate our youth to appreciate and learn about cultural heritage, environment, and history. And whereas the museum's investments in technology and digitalization advances now afford greater access to our museums by our residents and visitors. Now therefore, I, Phil Hathaway, District 1 representative of the Lewis County Board of Legislators, do hereby recognize and salute all our local museums as unique and important cultural mechanisms in the service of our communities and as record keepers of our histories. I also call upon all concerned citizens to provide moral, practical, and financial support to our local museums to ensure the continued recording of our community's unique histories and identities in perpetuity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. Do we have any other business? We need an executive session.
We got 2 resolutions, that's all.
We can do it.
Okay.
Come on, Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah, give it back.
What is that on the hour? Okay, that's it. Motion to adjourn. Dick, second. Lisa, all in favor? We are adjourned.
Go Yankees.
Gary's already left.